Normally this quest is supposed to drop you off right in front of the Furious Rajang. I have no idea why my wyvern dropped me here instead.
Yes!
just a generic build, really. uh, yeah. Well, you put the Zora Magnaros on the weapon so you can get something else on the coil or something or some other thing. But make sure you have a tremor resist 1. So when the Rajang does the body slam, the small one, not the big one, that you won't get a tremored. That's pretty much it. And that's how you make it fight into more or less a cinch. My first one. And the thing with Gunlance is that your charge shelling has increased stagger value, or was it part break or something like that. On top of your Wyvern Stick Blast being there to apply another additional damage, but I think the Wyvern Stick Blast have a reduced part. No, it should be around the same. I think it's like 1.0 or something for part breaker value as well as stagger and stuff. It's just charge shelling has increased, and yeah, it's not hard. It's pretty easy to use. So objective would be to your objective would be to, as soon as you start the mission, you want to try and get the ammo first. Drink a hot drink while you're trying to get it, maybe, or afterward, or you may have like feline fur coating to prevent the stamina loss from the cold. And I really evade window 5 because all you really need is 3-piece Zora. 2-piece Silver Rathalos is really nice for the slinger capacity, because slinger capacity affects how long your Wyvern Stick Blast lasts. So I believe it goes to like 5 minutes if you it's like, I think it goes from like 2 to 3 minutes to a good like 4 minutes. It's a decent increase for like regular slinger ammo for on the ground. And I think by default the slinger ammo that the monster drops is like around 4 to 5 minutes. So you can go through like an area and a half with the piercing pod, Wyvern Stick Blast, and it'll last for quite a while. So what you really need is the 3-piece Zora, or in my case I put one of the piece into the weapon itself, and you're looking for 1 tremor resist and artillery 5, which is why I run the alpha, I believe, because the alpha is pretty slot efficient. Yeah, it is, because if you try and slot a artillery 2 into this one, you take a 1 level 4 and you have a 1 level 2, but instead you have 1 level 3 and a level 1 to work with, so you have 2 slots to work with instead of just a 1 level 2. After that, you are looking for, well, I put the gold Rathian on here for extra durability, but all that you really need is the 3-piece Zora to get the artillery 5, and then the rest is just literally, it's up to you. Capacity boost is pretty good. It's almost mandatory because it goes from 3 shell to 4 shell like I do. Focus 3 really help up. Actually no, Focus 3 is also mandatory because it reduces the time it takes to charge up your shots. So you can, because long shelling is based around charge shelling. So this'll help. Let's see. Evade Extender is really good because you just increase the jumping distance that you do, which allows you to close the gap like I did, or just get away faster. Since I had extra space, I just put in a guard 5 plus evade window 5, because if my primary Unlike Lance, you don't pull your shield up as fast as you can do with Lance because Lance just goes from offense, defense, pretty much on the spots. Gun Lance do not. It's kind of like Charge Blade, where its attacks are slower, and there's a small delay before the shield comes up. But you can evade through most of the stuff with Evade Window 5. I think guard up is needed for the pin, but you can always just jump through it or jump out of the way for it. That's what Evade Extend or Evade Window are for. And the big body slam would you can evade. I rarely ever managed to evade that one. I think I've done it once or twice. I don't know how many times he has tried to use it as slam me, but it's like below a 1% evasion rate for me. Even with evade window, because it's usually when I jump, it's like right before it lands, but for some reason the attack has 2 AoEs that comes from it. So you can evade the first one, but there's still a second one to deal with, and the second one usually catches me anyway. So I just go guard 5. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But you can always like swap out random parts, like maybe you have evade window charm, and just slot in Iron Sight for guard 5 on here. It doesn't really matter. Everything fits. You can fit most things on here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Charge shell when you can. If you need to reload, or if you see your, just kind of like count your shells so you don't do what I did, where I try to shell with 0 shells available. Because normally I reload pretty often, but reloading often also gets you hit. Because Rajang's not slow. His attack comes out fast and hits pretty hard. And if you can spare it, eat for Feline Bombardier, which is 4 yellow, so it's like 4 of the bottom row ones. And then I pick Feline Riser High, so when you're trying to get back up, you have an extra. Yeah, it increases the duration of the iframes. I think that's what it is anyway. I forgot what it actually does. Hold on, let me double check that. Yeah, Bombardier increases your shelling damage by, I think, 15%? It's like 10 or 15%. And then Riser. Yeah, when you're getting up more iframes, basically. Alternatively, you can do Feline Polisher. So if you need to sharpen your gun lance more often, it's up to you. I don't seem to have the problem with long shelling, but if I have wide or normal, I definitely need the Polisher over the Riser, because they shell for both. Well, I'm using the light break gun lance, so the Raging Raki, and you sharpness tanks real fast because shelling is not affected by Master's Touch or anything like that. I believe it is 2 sharpness per shell, so you have the option of running Spare Shot to reduce the cost of sharpness, but you're better off running something else. Alternatively, you just have Protective Polish, which is pretty common, but I don't have Hard Enduring, which is the item prolonger one, so I can't really use it in most cases. What else? And for both wide and normal shelling, you consume a lot more sharpness than long does, because you're poking, that's 1, and then you shell, that's 2, so you can do shell poke, so that's 5 sharpness, whereas I can attack 3 times with just charge shelling, and it'll cost me 6, and it's fixed guarantee of like 150-ish damage before Bombardier. So yeah. And normal shelling, when you the playstyle is burst, and oof, burst shelling goes through sharpness real fast. Because it's 2 per shell, because it's 2 sharpness cost per shell. And to do the burst fire, it'll cost you, it does what, like, it comes with 6 base? So you end up having 7 with the magazine capacity boost. And so that's 14 sharpness just right there. And it's not good for Rajang fights because it's slow. So long shelling and wide shelling are go-to. Generally, long shelling it's much safer than wide. They're both good really. But wide shelling, well, to be fair, wide shelling is pretty strong as well. Especially since now you have wide shelling 7, which has an even higher stagger value when you charge the shell compared to the long shelling. But at the cost of, I run like 4-piece Raging Bracky. I'm not sure if that's the meta one, but you can't really. Well, for wide shelling, I was trying to mix the playstyle where you do both. Because wide shelling specializes in regular shelling, but if you actually charge it, it deals comparable damage to. Like, you're like a little behind for charge shelling compared to long. I think long is like 150-ish. So right now I'm hitting for 132, but with the Wyvern Snake Blast, it actually does a lot more. I think Wyvern Snake Blast, my long shelling was hitting 168 plus like 105-ish. This one gets much higher. It's like 150, I think. 144, 132. So you technically do 20 more points of damage than long shelling, but at the cost of you don't have the hit rate. Not hit rate, hitbox of the long shelling. Because let's see. Okay. Let's see, let's position ourselves like this. Okay. That's it. It may look like it's pretty far, but long shelling can reach this from over here, I believe. So basically, the shadow of the tree, and I believe you do charge shelling. It actually has an even longer reach. So, like from what you saw earlier, if you go and shove the Wyvern Stick Blast on the tail or on the head, you can just shell from the tail and it'll still go through. I think it's a little lower, so it might skew the results. Looks just about right. Yeah, I'm a good distance away from it, as well as when I was shelling it. I mean, like, I can be on the other side of the monster and hit it. I think wide might reach it if you shove your face into the monster. So if you're like this, wide would hit it. But if you like take a couple of steps back, um, this is probably the distance that wide can reach. So it'll hit that. No, if long can't even hit it, then wide can't hit it at all. Yeah, that's kind of it for the shelling. That's why I'm like, oh, people are like, I don't like fighting Furious Rajang. Why not just use gun lance? Ignore hit zone values, have a strong shield, and you just all you really need to do is put down the Wyvern Stick Blast. The first one tends to be a problem because Furious Rajang is angry all the time, all the time. So getting the opening is difficult. Uh, One thing you could do is if he is charged up, you can consider using like a pitfall trap so you can get the Wyvern Stick Blast in and then start shelling. Make sure you have extra slinger ammo on hand. Usually when I'm playing, I have Wyvern Stick Blast loaded in, put into the monster. I would have one loaded into the weapon, and then I still have slinger ammo like somewhere on the floor, or I'm holding on to it, because these things do fall off eventually. Also, try not to use the draw attack, because the draw attack is a forward attack, and this has quite a bit of animation. But you can use this to cancel into shelling. Also, you could aim your shells. Uh, like that. You just press W or press the forward key, which sometimes do get me in trouble. Because if you're trying to evade while doing a charge shelling like that, sometimes instead of evading to the side or evading forward or evading backwards, or rather, I hold W or S, backward forward when you try and evade forward or backwards, rather than just pressing space to jump backwards. Oh, and don't forget that you can cancel your shelling just by evading. That's important, because that's gonna get you killed if you don't. And after evading, when you try and shell again, it's going to be, it's gonna default to a full reload. That could be troublesome. So what you want to do is, let's see, how do I normally do it? If I try to charge shell evade, you want to poke into shelling, because the poke cancels out the potential reload that you get, but half the time you don't need it. Otherwise, yeah, see? So, or you can just wait it out. So for the big body slam and any of his AoE attacks, or rather, the exploding ones, the count is basically a point blank AoE. Just think of it like an explosion happening underneath your feet, or directly on top of you. And to dodge that, as long as your guard is up, it counts for the guarding. And since it's point blank, it doesn't matter where you're facing. You're still going to block it as long as your shield is up. So what I've seen speedrunners do for like base world, they will use like monster roars to push themselves into the monster. So same thing here. when Rajang is doing the big jump, if you have the health, turn away from him so that when it lands, it when the block would push you into Rajang's arms, so you can get one shell off and then probably jump out of there. You may not even will get one shell off, and you have to jump out of there, but it gives you the chance to, but not always a good idea to do it. What else? What other tips for Rajang? Stay away from walls, as you can see. If you fight near earlier, I was fighting near walls, and every time I knock him over, he just grabs the wall and gets right back up and starts firing a laser. Stay away from walls is a good one. Um, the hitboxes are kind of bigger than they look, so just be a little careful with that. But other than that, I think that pretty much covers most of Rajang's Furious Rajang stuff. And this gunlance setup works for every monster pretty much, as long as you're using long. It's basically the raw set for gunlance, a one size fits all kind of thing. And yeah, I think that's it.